Hey everyone, welcome back to Coffee and Coaching. Happy Wednesday. Hope you all have had a beautiful morning so far. For anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Liv and I am a triathlon coach for our Melbourne squad. Let me know if you're listening, give me a thumbs up. Oh, hey Janelle. See you there on Instagram. Hope you're all having a good morning. I'm going to get straight into it. Hey Tian. Can see your face popping up there on Facebook too. Hello everyone. Okay, so I know that for a lot of us, when we're getting involved in a new sport, whether it be triathlon, whether it be running, hey Sal, thanks for the thumbs up. Good morning, Tian. So distracting. So nice seeing everyone. Hey, great morning. Good. I'm glad you had a good morning, Janelle. It's pretty cold in Melbourne, but it is nice and sunny now, which is very nice. So as I was saying, I know that for a lot of us getting involved in a new sport, whether it's running, whether it's triathlon, when we've got a new goal, one of the most frustrating parts of the whole process is the mistakes that we make along the way. And the mistakes are inevitable. They're a part of doing anything new for the first time. However, for running in particular, a sport that is 100% weight bearing, making those mistakes along the way can lead to injury, which is not only painful, but really disappointing as well. And from personal experience, I've had a lot of running injuries so far, and it's really frustrating when you've got a goal in mind and you're being held back by injuries that could have been prevented. So this week I'm going to share 5 common running mistakes that we see and how to avoid them as well. So if you stay with me over the next 5 points, I'm going to be telling you a little bit more about our return to running program as well. I've got an exciting offer for those of you who are listening, who are wanting to get back into running and who are wanting, that support and guidance in their training as well. So let's get started with mistake number 1, which is not getting your walking or running style assessed. Hey, Katie. So I thought I would start off with this one because it's often not really considered until it's too late. So often people will get their running gait assessed as part of their rehabilitation after an injury. I know that's when I've got it done the first time. And a much better way of doing things is actually to get that assessment done before, much earlier in the process, so that you can hopefully prevent an injury from ever happening. I know that sounds a lot more appealing to me. For those of you who maybe haven't had a running assessment before, it basically involves a professional, whether that's an exercise physiologist, a physiotherapist, a podiatrist, a specialist running coach, whoever it may be, looking at your form whilst walking and running. And giving you some feedback. So sometimes I'll do it just by visually watching you. Other times they'll use a specific video software to slow the movement down. But they're going to look at things like how your foot hits the ground and how you move through the full movement. They're going to look at the rest of your body alignment. They'll look at things like your posture, things like your arm swing as well. So some common faults we see in running technique are, swinging your arms across your body rather than helping them propel you forward, or overstriding, so taking really big steps each time your foot hits the ground. Having an assessment means that you can identify any major flaws that exist in your running form and actually work to improve them before they become a detrimental issue. And not only will it reduce your risk of injury, which is, our main goal, but it will also make you a much more efficient runner. It's going to make you a faster runner, and it will make running more enjoyable and more comfortable as well, which is really important to making sure that you're staying in the sport for a long time and you're able to train consistently to achieve whatever goal you may have. So I really recommend looking into this, whether you feel like you need it or not. If you are wanting to improve as a runner and make some, gains, then this is a really good first step to look into, and one that is often commonly skipped until much later in your running experience. So I'll move on now to mistake number 2, and that's not having the right equipment. And I guess one of the great things about running is that you don't actually need too much equipment to get started. The really important stuff is to think about what's on your feet. It makes a really big difference. So we're talking shoes and socks here. And a common mistake, particularly by people who are just getting started in sport, whether it's triathlon, running, whatever it may be, is not investing in a pair of runners that really fit them properly and are specific to them. And also not running in a pair of running socks, so a pair of socks that are made specifically for performance. And doing these things can end up in some very nasty blisters. I know I have definitely ended up with some big blisters on my feet in the past, and a blister sounds, not that bad, but sometimes it feels like you've got a broken foot or something. So we want to avoid them wherever we can. And so first I'll start with touching on the shoes quickly. Having a pair that fit you properly is critical. So definitely sorry to anyone out there who, is wanting to go with the prettiest color combination. I know deep down that's really what I want in a shoe. I want it to, have all my favorite colors on it. However, it definitely doesn't mean that it's the right shoe for you. Things like your shape of your foot, your injury history, your running experience, your goals, so what duration of running you're wanting to be completing, and your budget are really important factors to consider in terms of your shoe choice. Booking an appointment with a podiatrist, or even following on from the running assessment that I touched on previously, talking to a professional like that, they're going to be able to point you in the direction of making an informed decision on a shoe that's really going to aid in your running performance. Also, places like Active Feet, for example, are a good option because they've got the treadmills in store and they've got staff who are very well educated. Often a lot of them are podiatrists, so they can give you some tailored advice. Just buying a pair that looks good, off the shop, any sort of shop front isn't often going to do the best job for you. I do also know that it can be really tempting to try and get as much use out of your shoes as possible. You might have a pair of runners that have been sitting in your wardrobe for 2-3 years and they still look alright, so you're still continuing to wear them. However, we generally recommend your runners are no more than 8 months old. That is, just a general recommendation, and obviously that's going to depend on how often you're wearing your shoes. If you're not training particularly consistently, you'll be able to get more wear out of them. But if you are training consistently, it is something to think about. If you start to feel like you're pulling up quite sore after sessions, or more sore than normal, or you're noticing a lot of cosmetic damage on the outside of the shoe, you've got holes or rips in the material, then these are some good indicators that it might be time to start thinking about investing in a new pair. Oh, Tian, I can see you on Instagram now too, Instagram and Facebook. Now I'll just quickly touch on socks. The good thing about socks is often the best performance ones are the ones that come in all sorts of colours, which is a lot of fun. I really like the brands Steigen and Light Feet. So if you are on the market for a good pair of socks, I know actually quite a lot of girls ask questions about this when they come to squad sessions with us at running. They're feeling quite uncomfortable and they're wanting some good recommendations on some socks that they can wear to get them through training comfortably. So that's what I recommend there. Okay, now we're going to move on to point number 3. Can I see? Oh no, never mind. Getting distracted by everyone's names popping up. Point number 3, which is not prioritizing injury prevention and recovery. So when we're running, our feet and our ankles, they could take, a bit of a pounding really. And as I said before, running, it's 100% weight bearing, which means it's a lot on your body. It's taking a big toll every time you're going out. Steigen are the best. They are. Thank you, Janelle. Agreed. And they come in like 100 different colours too. I have a bright pink pair, which are my favourites. As I was saying, not prioritising injury prevention and recovery. So some of the most important gains that you'll make in your training process can actually be made not even through the running, it's through, prioritizing your recovery and incorporating injury prevention exercises into your routine. And I completely understand that at times this stuff can sound boring. It can sound inconvenient because it's just, an extra thing to add to your list of, activities to get through during the day. However, they can make an absolutely massive difference, and they are really commonly forgotten. A lot of people will progress without them, but they're in the long run, if you can do them consistently, they'll make a really big difference. So even tools like wearing compression tights or compression leggings after a session, using a foam roller or a spiky ball to release muscles after tough sessions. These are some really easily implemented strategies that can make a really big difference in the long run. So I know this is a mistake that a lot of people in sport make, not just runners, and I've definitely done it myself. At the end of a day, you know, a long day, the thought of getting down and spending, you know, 15 minutes on the foam roller can be quite unappealing. However, as soon as you then end up injured in a few months' time, you look back and go, oh, why didn't I just do it? It's such an easy thing to do, and it can, make a really big difference to how you perform and back up your sessions as well. So in our return to running program that I mentioned earlier on in the video, we include, we include some bonus strength sessions as well in the program. We include a plyometrics cheat sheet, and we include our foam rolling guide as well to make sure you've got access to all of those resources and you can prioritize this stuff just as you do your actual running sessions, because they are equally as important. They're just commonly skipped over and forgotten. So number 4, I can't speak today, I'm not getting my words out right. Number 4, another common mistake made with running is not varying your training. So something we see quite frequently is people having no variety in their training sessions. So an example is, someone who's wanting to improve their 5 kilometer or 10 kilometer time. The best way to improve it isn't to just go out and run 5 or 10 Ks, repeatedly, and hope that over time, you manage to get faster. Over time, yes, your fitness will probably increase and you'll, be able to do it a little bit faster. However, actually varying the training up is a much more effective way. You're going to see the gains a lot faster. And it's also a much more enjoyable way of doing things, to have some variance in what you're doing. So there are so many different types of running sessions. Just to name a few, there's high intensity interval sessions, long, slow runs, and hill sessions as well. Those are just a couple. And they all have really different benefits and you get something different out of all of them. So a high intensity session sees you running at a much higher speed than you would do, for a 5 kilometer or 10 kilometer effort. Hey Jenny. So you might be doing 200 meter reps, but you're going to be running at a significantly faster pace than you would be in those other sessions. And it means you're able to focus on speed work. You're able to actually experience what it feels like to run at a much faster pace. And over time, that speed work will transfer over into those longer distance events, and you will shave time, minutes off your PBs for those longer distances. Then you've got your long runs. Hey Sue. Then you've got your long runs. And the purpose of these is they're an opportunity to get the distance and kilometers in your legs without actually accruing the fatigue that you do with, speed sessions. So these are performed at a much slower pace. It should be at a comfortable pace. Often we describe it as conversation pace. So you should be able to run and, have a chat to your friend next to you whilst ticking off the distance. And then you have hill sessions, and these help develop your strength and power. It's basically like a run-specific resistance training. Okay, so incorporating all of these into your training will not only make you, as I said, a faster runner, a better runner, it's going to make your training a lot more fun as well. The variety means that you don't get bored, which helps to, progress your motivation and ensure that you stay on target to achieving your goal. So it can be really tricky to work out how to incorporate all of those, different types of training sessions into your weekly routine and not overdo it. And this is the benefit of having a program written for you. In our Return to Running program, we have structured your weeks to slowly develop your run and incorporate all of these different strategies to training so that you achieve your goals, but you also enjoy doing it and you get that balanced approach that strengthens all of those areas of your run. Hey Steph, how are you? Long time no see. All right, last but not least, we're on to our 5th and final common running mistake, and this is doing too much too soon and not following a plan. So we all know the feeling when all of a sudden you've got this goal in your head that's really exciting, it's really motivating, and you want to do everything you can to make it happen. Maybe it's running your first half marathon, maybe you want to run 5 kilometers continuously for the first time, or you want to get a 10 kilometer PB. Whatever it may be, it can be so tempting to go too hard too soon and try to all of a sudden, be running 6-7 days a week, which is highly likely to result in you getting injured. Hey Sue! And this is especially true in running. You know, it happens in all sports, but particularly in running, doing more does not always equal doing better. In fact, in a lot of instances, doing more actually equals, you know, extreme level of fatigue and a high chance of injury. Managing your load and really gradually building up your fitness is so extremely important for an activity like running that's so, you know, hard on your body at times. Following a plan and using that to actually guide your training is by far the most powerful training tool that you can have, and it is my greatest recommendation today. If you have any kind of goal that you want to achieve, training without a plan is kind of like lining up to start the race with a blindfold on. 9 times out of 10 it's going to end up in disaster, or at the very least it's going to end up in you not reaching your full potential or achieving the goal that you set out to in the first place, which isn't what we want to happen. Whilst this is definitely true for, you know, all levels of runners, it is really important that regardless whether you're, you know, a beginner or an advanced athlete, that you do have a plan. It is particularly crucial for beginners who don't have that knowledge of the sport to, I guess, make their own informed decisions. So yeah, having a plan, it takes the guesswork out of your training. It gives you a tried and tested method to achieve your goal. And it also means, you know, when you get to race day or the day that you're going to head out and try and accomplish this goal, you can look back on your training and know that you did, you know, you followed a really effective plan and you've done everything that you can to hopefully result in achieving success, whatever that may be for you. So if you are thinking about returning to running for the first time, this is why we have created our Return to Running program, to help people like you and to really guide you through the process. Whether it's, you know, you're getting into it for the first time or you're coming back to it after a little bit of a break, whether that be injury, pregnancy maybe, or just having a little bit of time away from the sport. We've got a perfect program for you to follow over 8 weeks. It builds you up really nicely through 3 sessions per week to, increase your confidence and your fitness and get you back up and running smoothly and, with no issues along the way, hopefully. The program is available at the moment for $47, down from $67. So this is the offer that I mentioned earlier. So really recommend, if you are wanting to get involved, that you sign up now before the price rises back up to $67. You can find the link on Instagram. It will be via our bio, and Facebook, I'll pop the link in the comments as soon as I have finished this video. As I mentioned earlier, the program does also include access to our foam rolling guide, our strength videos, and our plyometrics cheat sheet. So it's a really well-rounded step back into running. We guide you through everything, not just the running process, but through those, recovery and little extra bonuses that make a big difference as well. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to let me know. Thanks to everyone who's given me a thumbs up and a wave on the gram. Very nice to see. That is pretty much it from me. I hope that by listening to some of these tips, it will hopefully prevent you from making any of these common mistakes. I think I've made every single one of them over my time in the sport. So hopefully, you won't make the same mistakes. And if you do, you know how to overcome them. Hey, Sarah. I'm just signing off, but you can watch the recording of this video in just a second. That's it from me. I don't think there's any questions. So I hope you all have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I will see you, next Wednesday at 10 a.m, same time, same place. Have a great week. Bye.